So, good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the Information Science 7320 Database Systems and Information Architecture. So, this is actually the first page of the Blackboard of the course. So, we're going to use Blackboard for posting all assignments, all slides, and all the materials and information about the class. Okay, so if you enter into the course Blackboard page, then you go to the content. Okay, so in the content, I list the syllabus, and also there's a folder for the lecture slides and the folder for the assignments. So basically, I think I pretty much uploaded all the slides for this semester. So we may have one or two more depending on the class progress. So I'm going to update it as needed. Then for the assignment, we also have a folder. So right now I haven't posted any assignments yet. Then there's a folder for the other course materials. So this folder is mainly used to for some supplemental materials for the class, like the in-class exercise and solutions, and some other reading materials. So I'm going to post them under this folder. And also you're going to use this live classroom link to join the live classroom whenever you have time. So in this class, we have two different sections, the section H01 and the section 9U1. So
Can I go in?
the section H01 basically is considered a hybrid class. So if you from that section, then basically you're required to participate in the class, in the physical classroom. So however, because it's hybrid, so sometimes we may offer the class online. Okay, so then you can take the class remotely, but we're really expecting you take class in the real time, either in the physical classroom or in the online classroom. Okay. And so let's first discuss the syllabus. So since so I just kind of let me share the window somehow. Let me see. I think it's working. So this is class syllabus. So basically, we have several textbooks. I think it's called recommended. Okay, and I know that we may only able to cover just not all the section, maybe only several chapters in one of those books. So that's why if you cannot afford the book, that's fine. So then we sometimes may need discuss some examples, some figures, and also we may have to use some kind of assignment questions in this class. So then I'm going to make a copy, so you know at least you have references if you don't have a book. But I think these two books are pretty good. So if you're really interested into the database systems and you may want to start your future career in this field, then I strongly recommend you to have these two textbooks. Okay, I know that nowadays the textbooks are just notoriously expensive. I don't know why. But anyway, so just as I said that if I need to use some of the sections in those books, I'm pretty much will include in the slides so you know where we are. Okay. So for this class, I assume that some of you may have your database course taken when you're in the undergraduate or in the graduate study. So in this case, we consider this course is more like survey course. So we won't be able to get into the details for every important database techniques, but we want to give you good enough review of what's going on in the database technology. So we're going to discuss the database architectures, okay? Then also we're going to, I'm not sure if we have dedicated lectures on the storage structures, but we do include some of those concepts in our lectures. And also we're going to study physical database design. And also we're going to study the database programming. I think in this class, my purpose is that we're going to focus on the database design, database programming, and how we can use database for the knowledge discovery. So that's kind of three major parts that I want to focus on. So for the database design, we mainly focus on the relational data model. So that's the foundational model that almost every relational database systems are built on. And then we also going to study we call entity relationship model. So this model is pretty much help you to sketch the database design at high level in a very quick way, okay? So you don't need to consider any implementation details. You just sketch what kind of data should be included in the database and what are their relationships. So that's all you need for the ER modeling. And then for the database programming, I think for sure we're going to cover SQL programming. And also I'm considering, we also may cover some kind of, I call it PL, SQL programming. So that's kind of procedure language extension for the SQL programming. So in this case, sometimes you probably have to implement using the PL SQL if you are in the secured field or if you are in the application programmer field. So although you can develop a lot of complex data processing using high-level programming language like JavaScript, Java, and then Python. But sometimes if you consider that you have to worry about the backend data security, and also you want to restrict the user's access or application programs access to your database, then you may have to consider using the stored procedure or packages so that the high-level programming, they can call your procedure, but they won't be able to access any other data. So all their access rights will be determined or decided by your procedure. Okay, so in this case, you do not need to give them access to your database table. You only give them access to the procedure. And the procedure for them is more like black box. So they won't be able to tell what's included in the procedure. They just call your procedure and get the result that they're supposed to have, okay? Then the last part is kind of a database, using database for knowledge discovery. So in the past classes, I basically using the database as the data you're going to use to do the project. I'm not sure for this class we can have two options. One is using the database running SQL query, very complex SQL query to retrieve the data, get the knowledge. The other one is that I'm thinking we may want to switch to the Scalar. So to using some Python package for some serious data pre-processing machine learning task. So that's depending on the progress of this class. Okay, so that's pretty much the main goal for this class. So for the key topics, I think, yeah, we're going to cover the data architectures, the fundamentals of data architectures. Then we're going to study the principles of the database design. So we're going to focus on two data model, relational data model and entity relationship type model. Then for the understanding the principles of the database implementation, we're going to learning the SQL programming and the PL SQL programming, and to learn how we implement database in a more efficient way. And also, if we have time, we're also going to study some database design theory, like normal forms, so that it can guide you to at least evaluate if your data organizations into tables are good or bad. Okay. Last part, we're going to discuss some data mining concepts. Okay, so for this class, I think it's going to be the lecture-based. So because we have so many things to cover in the class, so we probably won't have time for the students to make presentation. But you do have some kind of the project, so you need to work on, okay, to practice what we have learned in the class. So I think we only have actually two sections for this class. So we have H01 and also we have 9U1. So for the H01, so it's considered hybrid. So I think I checked, the last time I checked the class roster, I think we have about 6 students taking this Edge 01 class. And we have about more than, I think, 10 in the online class. So for the Edge 01 class, you're expected to attend this class in person, okay? But since it's kind of a hybrid, so according to the data definition, we have at least 20% class in the physical classroom, and also we have 25% online, okay? So I may not strictly restrict you to come, to enforce the principle that you need to come into the class, but I would strictly enforce that you have to take this class in the real time, either in the classroom or online. Okay, so I have to take the class attendance, unfortunately. But I just want to make sure that you pretty much you attend the class, you don't have any questions. I don't want you to leave all the problems, issues at the end of the class. It's too late for us to kind of save you or to help you, okay? For the online students, I think it's up to you. So if you have time, I strongly encourage you to attend this class remotely in real time so that you can participate in the class discussion, okay? And also raise questions if you have any. But if you cannot, then I think the class is always recorded, so that then you can watch the class video. And always, if you have any questions, then you can write me email. Okay, we can discuss. So regarding that, for the office hours, so that's going to be the, I think I have to change. So it's going to be the, I think between 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. because that's the time. That's the time I'm afraid for the Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm going to update this part. But I know that majority of you probably have questions outside of the office hours. So you feel free to write me email. Okay, so usually I'm pretty good responding email, unless I'm flooded with a lot of emails. So if you cannot get my response with 24 hours, it's no hurt. You just remind me again. Okay, because my email sometimes it's lost in the trail. I have so many emails from students from others stuff. So if I didn't respond to you, just send me a reminder email. Okay, so that's no hurt. Okay, so usually I think if you you'll probably have to constantly watch out your email. So because I will send class announcement through the Blackboard announcement and also through the emails. Okay, and also if you send me email during the weekend, so I may not respond as fast as I usually do. So please give me like 48 hours. But usually I also check email during the weekends, okay? But anyway, so if it's urgent, if you don't see me respond, then just send me a reminder, okay? So I won't feel offended. Okay, so then for the class assessment. I think in this class, currently we only have one term exam, okay? So we don't have the final. Your final, you're going to spend more time on your project. So you have a term exam, midterm exam accounts about 30% of your total grades. Project about 30%, and your lab and assignments about another 30%. Then the attendance 10%. So that's for the section H01 student. So attendance here counted. Either you come here to the physical classroom or you join in the live classroom, but it should be in the real time, okay, during the class time. And for the non-UI student, since you don't have attendance credit, so that's why I kind of put your lab assignments to the 40%. Okay, then you have 30% for the midterm exam and 30% for the project. Okay, so that's overall the grading system. So be sure that I may post your grades through the Blackboard, but those grades are not, you just cannot give me the overall percentage. So you have to do the weights, okay? So the weight is very important. So your final course grades will be the weighted average of every component of your grade. And what else? So for the late assignment, so usually I gave you about 2 weeks, maybe even longer, most of the time for the assignment. So if for some reason you cannot turn in on time, you have to let me know. And if you don't have any excuse, then the late assignment do have the penalty. Okay. So that's why I really strongly encourage you to submit your assignment on time. So that's really make sure that you keep up with the class progress. Do not left behind. Okay. And then for the students who taking the kind of SH01 class, you have to come to the classroom for the term exam. So we only have 1 midterm exam, so you only need to come to this classroom for the term exam. And then for the online students, then you have to find a proctoring services at your local location. So it should be a local university, a library, or some commercial proctoring services. So usually you have to decide your proctoring services, I think at least 1 week before the test, okay? And in the past, we do have some professional, the students who are professional, they kind of trying to utilize their colleagues at their workspace to monitor their exam. I think that's not considered a good idea. So something did happen in the past. So it's pretty complicated. So that's why I strongly encourage you to find a local proctoring services, the commercial one or the university or the library, so that I can send the test paper to your designated proctoring services, okay? And then for the plagiarism, so I hope I won't have any plagiarism in this class. So basically, so if I found there's some plagiarism in your assignments, then for sure you're going to have 0 points in the assignment, okay? And also sometimes if, depending on how severe this plagiarism, the degree of the severity, we may also have to probably pursue some further disciplinary actions if that is necessary. So I hope that this never happened in this class. So I'm willing to help you. So if you have questions, just feel free to ask me, okay? I'm willing to help you. At least I want you to learn something from this class. I just don't want to waste your time and also waste my efforts. And after we finish this class at the end of semester, we don't know what we learned. I think that's not the thing I'm looking for, okay? So I'm willing to help you. So I really also want you to put your own efforts in this class. Okay, by no means this class is hard, but it just needs your efforts to pretty much work on your assignments and also take the class either online or remotely, or watch the class video. I think that's pretty much the syllabus. So any questions? So here, I think remaining is kind of talking about the plagiarism and about inclement weather policy. I think that's probably worth of discussion. So I think nowadays weather really doesn't matter because we can always put the class online. For example, if the weather is too bad, I know some of you students living pretty far from the campus, and the driving is not. If driving is risky during the bad weather, so I'm okay. You take the class online, okay? So I don't want you to risk take any risk for driving to the campus to take class in the physical classroom, and also I may also switch the class online, but depending on the situation. So because I'm living on the hill, so sometimes it's kind of old neighborhood, so sometimes we can easily lose power. So okay, depending if I lost power at my residence, if we have to put the class online, if I lost my power, then I have to cancel the class, okay? Otherwise, I think I try to keep class so that we don't need to make up the class, okay? And We do have a disability policy, so if you have any needs or special needs for the accommodation, you just let me know. Yes, I think that is good time for discussing the class schedules. So actually, I put the lessons plan on the blackboard. So for the week one, so this week, basically, I think my to-do list is that we're gonna do a class survey. So then this Thursday, we're going to have a class, pretty much I call the introduction to the database system. So we discuss the key components that make up a database system, okay? So we're going to introduce some key terminologies in the database system, and also some kind of key function models of a database system. Then from week 2 to week 6, we're going to focus on the database design and the data model. So we're going to review the relational data model, and we're going to study the relational data model constraints, okay? And then we're going to give a short review of the entity relationship model. So this model can help us quickly sketch a database design, okay? So I think that's very useful, especially if some of you, would like to working as a data architect. I think this kind of design the database at high level, I think is a kind of necessary skill. Then I think if we have time, then we're going to study how we can convert a ER model into the relational data model. So in practice, I think if we have to design a database from scratch, we actually first we're going to sketch the database using the ER model. Then we translate it into the relational data model. The nice thing about ER model is that you sketch in the diagrams, then you can go to the users, or the database users, and or your client to let them know that if your design really meets their requirements, if you miss something, or if you have some data they don't want to put into a database. So that's very convenient for you to communicate your design with the user even if they don't have any database kind of background knowledge. So because that's easy to understand. So once your ER model, ER design is ready, then you can easily convert it into the relational data model. So it means that once you convert it into the relational data model, that's pretty much the tables. Then you can go ahead to implement it, okay? So that's why there's a need for us to convert the ER model into the relational tables. So that's why this ER to relational mapping is one. I think I have typo here. So basically, if we have time, then we're going to cover that part. If no, then I think you just read it. This mapping is more like an algorithm. So as long as you follow that algorithm, you should be fine. So it's not that hard. Okay. Then I think that's for the first part for the database design. So you may have at least 2 assignments, maybe more, depending on the class progress. Then from the week 9 to 10, we're going to study review the SQL programming, and also we're going to also touch some basic concepts of the PL/SQL programming. So I know some of you may also interested in taking in my database security class. So in that class, basically, we will study how the PL/SQL programming is widely used in the database security because stored procedures, stored functions. So that's considered as one of the mechanisms to control database access, okay? And for this part, for the database programming, then you have to register an Oracle Apex account. So this account is free, okay? So in this case, you can practice the SQL programming and the PL/SQL programming in that interface. So you don't need to maintain it. You just need to have an account, and it's free, okay? It's give you a link. So that's for the second part. And the third part, basically, depending the class progress. So I think I really want to introduce the NoSQL and the MongoDB. I think MongoDB is also one of the widely used NoSQL database because it's able to handle the big data and also able to handle the non-structured data or semi-structured data. So if we have time, I want to introduce that part. And then we're going to have the data mining. So still the data mining, I mean, I'm going to make decision maybe by midterm. So either we're going to use Python to really start study the sklearn for the data mining, or we're going to use database for the data mining. So I'm going to decide it. So which one you prefer? You want to use database to practice data mining? I think if we use database, most likely we have to submit the SQL query. So then that project will pretty much help you to refine and then sharpen your SQL skills. So this is one possibility or option. The second option is that we're going to switch to the Python, using Python sklearn package to study how we can, maybe we also have to touch some pandas. So how to do the data pre-processing. Once we pre-process data, then how we can use Python package, like the decision tree, naive classifier, support vector machine, and also neural networks to do the data analysis. So which one you prefer? You prefer the SQL? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think I don't have any preferences, but I think there's two ways we can perform this one. Okay, so good. So that's pretty much for the kind of the syllabus and the lessons plan. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the class, I kind of note all the slides that we're going to cover, or you're going to read by yourself for this class. So we may have more depending on the class needs. So any questions so far? No? Okay, so let me go here. So I think there's one more thing I want you to do, but I need to set up. To set up the things, so then you can work on it. Okay, good. So let's come here. Okay, good. So basically, I think you probably have, this is kind of common, just showed up. It's called assessment. So this assessment is more like a class assessment, okay? So it has 5 questions. So 2 about the understanding of the key and the super key in the database design, and the 3 SQL query, very simple SQL query, okay? So the reason I'm kind of want to give this assessment, so I know what's the general background in this class, so I can adjust my lecture, I mean the speed. Either we need to speed up for some sections, or we need to spend more time, okay? So you don't need to worry about your grade because you only have the participation credit. So grade doesn't matter. Your grade is only for me to make sure. I just want to have the average. What's the weakest point for most students in this class? I mean, and what's the strongest point? So that I can put more emphasis on the what you're lacking. So that's really assessments really for me to schedule the class progress and the contents we need to cover. Okay, so that's why do not be don't feel any pressure for taking this assessment, but try your best. Okay, so you're going to have the participation credit for assessment, but this is required. If you don't take assessment, then you won't have that credit. Okay. So this assessment, I think, is due by the end of the tomorrow night, midnight. Okay. So please take time. It's only take about, I think, less than 10 minutes. I set timer at 20 minutes. Okay, so after 20 minutes, you are done. So regarding, you don't need to worry about that, how well you did. So it's just simply for the whole class. Okay, any questions? No? If no, I think that's pretty much for today. So tomorrow, I mean, on Thursday, we're going to start the first lecture. Okay. So for this class, you just basically, I think the remaining of the class time, you just make sure that you know that you're going to do the assessment, and then if you're able, then please finish it as soon as possible. Okay. So any questions from online students?
So you talked about the proctoring service. Is that something that we have to look into and find who can do what, or?
Yeah, I think I preferred you go to either some kind of, I don't know if you have local university or college or the library, or there's some kind of professional proctoring services you can use. I know there's some kind of difficulty because at least at ULR, I mean, the proctoring service is only open like from, I don't know, from 8 to maybe 9 to 4. So if you have full-time job, it's really not fit for your schedule. So that's why probably you have to go with commercial proctoring services if you if there is a need. And I don't know, maybe I will speak with the department to see if there's any other online proctoring services that you can use. So, but anyway, so you have to use proctoring. And for the, I think for the midterm, I think it should be, I believe, I think it should be in the week 8 or 7. So it's kind of, you still have time to shopping around. And once I decide, according to the class progress, once the midterm time is determined, then I will let you know at least 2 weeks before, so that you can, I mean, you can let me know what proctoring services you're using, because I have to send the text paper to the proctoring service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, meanwhile, I think the department also exploring some kind of online proctoring services. Hopefully we can have someone ready before our midterm, so that I think the online proctoring is good in the sense that there's no time constraints. I know that I do have that need. Last year, I realized that ULR will not meet my needs. So that's kind of I know that's kind of the issues you might have. But anyways, just let me know if you have any questions and concerns. So if you don't have any other questions, then I think we are done for today. Then just be sure to work on the take time, work on the assessment, and it's due tomorrow night at midnight. And if you take it, then you have credit. If you don't take it, then you don't have that credit. That will affect your final grade. So that's why I strongly encourage you to take it. Okay. Okay. Good. Any questions? Okay. If no, thank you all, and I hope to see you on this Thursday. Thank you.